You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. Da-da. This is your X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I am Adam.
I don't know why I'm doing a song here. It doesn't tie into anything, and we did not talk about this bit previously. In fact, we just spent 20 minutes talking about other things, and now I'm doing this, and it's going on too long, and that's fine. Hi, Adam.
Hey, well, maybe it's a theme song for the kids, because it's a little song that Nanny makes up to really quell the little mutants that she's saving.
Okay, but if I wanted to do that, I would have done the song that I was singing to myself while I was waiting for you to get onto the call, which was Alien Ant Farm's Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal, but saying, Nanny, are you okay? Are you okay, Nanny?
It was really funny when I clicked the link and I heard that coming through my my earbuds. So listeners,
you gotta understand, I'm not 100% in my downtime the same guy I am on the podcast, but there's like an 80% overlap.
That Venn diagram is tight.
The true self is not so hidden here.
Well, listeners, we are talking about Nanny and the Orphan Maker this week, particularly some places that you might not expect them to show up.
Bud, I tell you what, I've been on the Nanny and the Orphan Maker train since I learned that there was a Nanny and an Orphan Maker because X-Men fight an egg lady, very funny.
I mean,
the fact that people know about Nanny these days, impeccable, and I love it. And if there was anything that proved that Krakoa was the right place, like the right thing, is that Nanny had a significant role.
Yeah.
All throughout. Arguably more significant than, let's see, I'm going to just pick one of the 05. Angel, for example. That's
pretty true. Yeah. Or even on the new X-Men, I would say Nanny had a bigger role than Banshee.
Well, Banshee did get his skin taken from him and used.
See, that wasn't him, though. Key. That wasn't even him. He was dead.
It was his skin, though. It was the skin. Man. But okay. That's not the point. Man, Banshee really is the archangel of the new X-Men, isn't he?
He really is. He really is. So why are we talking about Nanny and Orphan Maker this week, Zach?
Oh, because I love our patrons so much. Our patrons are the pride and joy of the Battle of the Atom community. And by community, I mean it's not a community unless you guys have your own secret club that I'm not invited to. And that's cool. We don't need a mixed church and state like that. But I love our patrons. I love when they're like, can we talk about a comic? And hey, I'll give you $5.
I'll
give you $5. I'll give you $5. And there's no parasocial relationship to it. There's no extra anything to it. It's just, here's $5. Go talk about this comic. And me and my friend Adam get to do that and say, well, what really is at the core of Zeb Wells' Hellions? And we get to say Nanny, obviously.
Nanny,
she's right there front center. Definitely not the smallest image on that first cover. That's definitely not Nanny's role in this. And then the beautiful thing is I get to say, how about we not only go with stories with Nanny in them, which is by definition obscure, but what if we go with the most obscure comics with Nanny in them to fill out the rest of the episode? Because I love it. And Adam, I love being able to do this, and I love that Patreon supporter Flo Wanderies and Robin decide, and Robin here,
and Robin,
just like Batman.
Yes,
the sensational character find of 1930, whatever.
Depending on the Robin. I know you're not a Batman guy.
No, hold on. No, because Dick Grayson was a sensational character find. Do you think that Tim Drake was a sensational character find? Let's be honest. Tim Drake was, aw, dang, we need a Robin again.
I'm going to be honest. My Robin opinions are close to zero. So
I would, hold on, Adam, who's your favorite Robin? Do you have a favorite Robin?
I don't, but if I did, it would be Robin because I can't tell the difference between them. I realize one of them's a little kid. And
okay. Well, all of them are little kids. Here
we're
going to run down Robins real quick. We're going to run down Robins.
We're
not counting. We're just counting like primary Robins. If I left a Robin off this list,
okay, go ahead.
Yell at your phone. It's fine. First, you got Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson.
He's the OG Robin.
Yep.
Then you have Jason Todd, who originally was copy of Dick Grayson. He's the one that got beaten up and blown up by the Joker.
Right.
And is now the Red Hood. And I think people write fan fiction about him.
Sounds good.
Then you have Tim Drake. Tim Drake is, oh, dang, we need another Robin. And then people will say, oh, but he's the smart detective Robin, or he's the Robin that has a family. The secret is he's the Robin who was in the comics in the 90s when they were growing up, so they like him. But frankly, Tim Drake has not really had an identity since the early 2000s, and he never will. He is going to always be stuck in that. There's also technically Stephanie Brown, who was Robin as a prank on her. And I've not read those comics, so I don't know what happened there. But then there's Damian Wayne, and Damian's the best Robin. Here's why you would like Damian Wayne. Damian's the Robin that Grant Morrison came up with.
Yeah, I've read some of those. I've read some Damian
Batman's
Wayne
test tube baby, and Damian's a little jerk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still don't care about Robin. So we should get back to
I want to care about Robin.
Maker.
I want to read Junie Ba's Robin comic that I haven't read yet.
I like Junie Ba. I would read that.
I love Junie Ba. Junie Ba, write some Nanny and Orphan Maker. Can you imagine Junie Ba drawing Nanny and Orphan Maker?
That would be great.
I'm going to get a Junie Ba commission of that.
That'd be great.
Junie, if you're listening. Anyway, if I say all that to say, if you want to be like Flo Wanderies and Robin, going over to patreon.com/MouthTheAtom, throw $5 into our pocketbooks. Our hearts and wallets? I forget how I say these things.
Something in those lines, yeah.
And then we'll talk about Hellions number 1 through 4 by Zeb Wells and Steven Segovia. Adam?
Yeah.
Do you remember when this book got announced and we all lost our minds because they were like, we're doing a book with Nanny and the Orphan Maker?
I do remember when they announced it, and rereading it was a lot of fun. We're just doing the first 4 issues, the first arc before 10 of Swords here. And man, this really this made my day. It really is that just peak Krakoa fun time, of the first 2 years of this. And it was a blast.
I think mentioning that it's Krakoa fun time is probably the right approach to it. Because on reread, I'm not going to say that I didn't see some cracks in the armor. I'm not going to pretend like there wasn't some stuff that was like, okay, well, maybe this wasn't, like the all-star special that I thought it was. But I think it's still a very strong comic. And like, here's the thing. And this is just a general mission statement or a general commentary on especially those first 2-ish years of Krakoa. Hey, all the comics had a baseline level of quality that was in the top 75% of every X-Men comic that's ever existed. And that was the entire line. And oh my, that's a lot.
Yeah, the consistency was pretty great. All the books had really tight, what's the word I'm looking for? Continuity over all of the books. So this particular book, if you've never read it before, involves, what do we do with some of these like borderline villains that they're not quite villains, but they're jerks, and we can't put them in the pit, but we don't know what to do with them. And Sinister basically saying like, oh man, this is a great opportunity. I would love to play around with these guys. And Cyclops being like, oh, they need a babysitter, so let's send Conan along with them. That's the premise. It's great.
The interesting thing about that, number one, they are still trying to make Conan happen. Like, she had not gotten over as Psylocke. She had gotten the tail end of the Rosenberg run where she was a mute ninja lady,
Right.
which just, that was nothing.
Nope.
And then Fallen Angels, which we're not going to get into, but I would say was not well received.
No.
So I think she had negative momentum, where at the same time, Betsy Braddock, being Captain Britain, was having like a real positive momentum push.
Oh yeah.
So it did feel weird, but Wells picks her up, throws her in this book along with Havoc, Mr. Sinister, Nanny and Orphan Maker,
Mm-hmm.
Empath, John Greycrow, and Wild Child. What it is what Krakoa was. I think that in the summer of 2020, when everyone was kind of like at a peak despair level,
Mm-hmm.
Krakoa may have morphed into something more than what was really on the page. And that does a lot of things to a lot of things in it. But in general, it was a story and conflict engine that allowed you to start from a place and say, hey, what does that mean for this? And allow you to tell new and different stories with an identity and a purpose that you wouldn't get otherwise. Because there have been Suicide Squad-esque villain books since Suicide Squad.
Sure.
Like, that's just been a thing.
Yeah.
Through the X-Men, through DC, through Marvel, everywhere. And so many times they feel like we have this IP that we need to continue to use and push forward. Like, we need to get all these anti-heroes onto a team.
Mm-hmm.
Where this book, Hellions, felt like it had an actual purpose. There was a reason why these people had to be put together. A reason why the world demanded that they all live together and deal with their own insanity. And that's the beauty of what this comic starts with.
Yeah. They are a mutant outcast demolition team. And their first assignment is to go back and destroy the covert sinister lab that exists underneath the orphanage where Havoc grew up. I'm sure this is going to go well. And what Zeb Wells...
Havoc didn't live there that long.
No.
Havoc was not in that orphanage for a while. His brother had a hard time there.
Yes. But Zeb Wells does a really good job, and Segovia does a fantastic job with the acting of these characters, of really making fully formed versions of each of these characters as we go through. So that some of these
fully formed versions of all the characters, and then also Empath is there.
Well, Empath gets shot in the face, like, but Empath still is Empath.
To be clear, Empath getting shot in the face immediately.
It's pretty funny.
I knew it was coming, and I reread it again, and I was like, still hits. That's a good freaking joke, because everyone hates Empath.
Yeah.
Of all the trash people, Empath is also there, and they're like, screw this guy, right? He sucks. Greycrow over here led a genocide, but Empath, he's not fun.
But that's the beauty of this book, is that Zeb is really good at using comedy